The most important tech product of the last 2 years doesn't look like a tech product. It looks like a pair of ordinary glasses. Classic frames, nothing bolted on, nothing glowing. You could sit across from someone wearing them on a train and never register that you're looking at a computer, a camera, an AI assistant, and, in the newest versions, a screen, all resting on a nose. Smart glasses have quietly become one of the fastest-growing consumer device categories on the planet. Meta's Ray-Ban line alone has sold millions of pairs, generation after generation, selling faster than the one before. And the latest models have added the piece that changes everything: an actual display, projected into the lens, visible only to the wearer. And every major player, Meta, Google, Samsung, Apple, by every credible report, is racing toward the same goal. One they now say out loud: glasses are the next computing platform, the thing after the smartphone. Today, why glasses? Why now? What these things actually do versus what's promised, and the honest problems, technical and social, standing between here and a world where looking at your phone seems as dated as a fax machine. This is Futuristic Techno. Eyes up. First, the obvious question: why is every giant betting on your face? Because of a problem you experience every day without naming it. The smartphone is a miracle with a terrible interface to reality. To use it, you must leave the world. Head down, eyes on glass, attention gone. Average users pull the phone out dozens upon dozens of times a day, and every pull is a context switch out of wherever they actually are. The entire pitch for smart glasses fits in one sentence: keep the superpowers, lose the head down. Directions that appear in your view while your eyes stay on the street. A message you glance at without reaching for anything. A question answered by an assistant that can see what you see. Translate the menu in front of you. Identify the thing you're looking at. Remember where you left your keys because it watched you leave them. The phone made the computer portable. Glasses aim to make it ambient, present, but no longer a destination. And there's a colder, corporate reason underneath the elegant one. Whoever owns the dominant platform owns the toll booth, the app store, the ad space, the assistant everyone talks to. Companies that pay rivals for placement on phones have every incentive to own the next platform outright. The face is the last unclaimed real estate in consumer tech, and the land rush has started. Now, what the current generation actually does, because the honest state of the hardware matters more than the keynote demos. Today's mainstream smart glasses do a handful of things genuinely well. Cameras for photo and video capture from your point of view, good enough that they've become standard equipment for creators. Open-ear audio for music and calls, surprisingly decent, invisible to onlookers. And a voice AI assistant that can see through the camera, which is where the sci-fi moments live. Real-time translation of signs and speech, describing scenes, answering questions about whatever you're facing. For blind and low-vision users, this single capability has been quietly life-changing. An assistant that narrates the visual world on request. The newest tier adds the display, a small, bright screen floated into one lens for messages, navigation arrows, captions, and controls, often paired with a wristband that reads the electrical signals in your muscles so you can click and scroll with tiny finger movements, hands at your sides. That's the real product in 2026. Notice what it isn't yet. It isn't full augmented reality, persistent digital objects convincingly anchored in the world. That remains the end game, and the end game is still years of optics, battery, and processing away. What ships today is best understood as a heads-up display for your life, plus a seeing assistant, which turns out to be plenty. Time for the honest problems, because this channel doesn't do keynotes. Problem 1. Physics. Great glasses must be light, all-day wearable, and normal-looking. Great computers need batteries, chips, and heat dissipation. Those requirements fight hard on every gram. Current devices juggle real trade-offs on battery life and capability, and the fully loaded AR versions remain thick, hot, and short-lived. Moore's Law is helping. It has not yet won. Problem 2. The killer habit. Every platform shift needed the app that made the old way feel broken. For phones, it was Maps plus messaging plus camera in your pocket. Glasses have strong candidates, live translation, and the seeing assistant chief among them. but no single feature yet that makes a majority of people feel naked without them. Until that habit exists, glasses remain an accessory to the phone, not a successor. Problem 3, and the biggest: other people. A phone camera announces itself. You can see when someone's filming. A camera at eye level, worn all day, styled to be invisible, is a different social contract, and society has not signed it. Recording indicators help, and every maker has rules, but the fundamental discomfort is real and reasonable. A world of face-worn cameras is a world where anyone you talk to might be capturing you, and where everything a wearer sees can, in principle, be processed by an AI owned by one of the largest advertising businesses in history. The last attempt at this category, a decade ago, died substantially from this exact backlash. The technology got better. The question didn't go away. Anyone selling you the glasses future without that paragraph is selling, not telling. So here's the sober forecast, the futuristic techno position. The smartphone is not dying this year or in 5. What's happening is slower and more interesting. The phone is being demoted, one glance at a time. Each thing the glasses handle, the notification, the directions, the photo, the question, is one less reason to pull the slab out of your pocket. Platform shifts don't arrive as executions. They arrive as attrition, and the attrition has visibly begun, in sales curves that look uncannily like early smartphones, and in the sheer weight of capital converging on one bet. The unresolved question isn't whether face computing arrives. It's who sets its rules, what gets recorded, what the assistant remembers, whose ads live in the corner of your eye. Those defaults are being written right now, in the boring early years, which is exactly when defaults get written. The last platform shift put a screen between you and the world, and we spent 15 years learning what that cost. The next one proposes to put the computer on your eyes so the screen can disappear. Better? Genuinely, maybe. Worth watching with both eyes open? Absolutely. Which, for once, the hardware will let you do. If this one sharpened the picture, the next episode covers the other machine being built for your body. The humanoid robots that crossed from demo to factory production this year with real unit numbers. That video's on your screen right now, and the full series is linked in the description below. Subscribe to Futuristic Techno, tomorrow's tech without the hype, every week. And tell me in the comments, would you wear a camera on your face all day? And the harder question, are you okay with everyone else wearing one around you? Those are two different answers for most people. See you in the next one.